This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, and especially at the moment, I do hope you're well. Now then, what have I got for you today? Well, it's a video inspired by Rick Beato. I'm a huge fan of Rick's, and he recently did one of his What Makes This Song Great videos about this particular song, but left out the guitar solo. He didn't mention it. So I thought, all right, Rick, leave it to the fat lad. I'll have a crack at it. So that's what we're doing today. So what song is it? Well, let me put it this way. Back in the 90s, when this particular band were a massive hot property, I went to see a tribute band who was doing their stuff. And this tribute band were called No Way, Sis. And the song in question is all about not casting a glance behind you with a sense of irate emotion. So there you go. Anyway, here's the solo, and then there's a brief explanation about what's going on. Okay, the first port of call for when you're figuring out what's going on in any solo should really be having a look at the chords, because if you know what's going on in the chord sequence, that's going to tell you what scales and licks and stuff will fit over the top. So a brief look at this chord sequence here tells us that it's largely based around a C major tonality. In fact, all but two of the chords in the chord sequence are directly from the key of C major. There's a couple of other chords in there, and we'll deal with those in due course. Over the top of that chord sequence, he's playing basically a C major pentatonic in various guises, and there's only one note that crops up a couple of times that is from outside that scale, and we're going to deal with that right now. Basically, the first lick of the solo, that is, it's basically taking this D note here and bending it up a semitone to an E flat. Why is he doing that? Well, because at this point in the solo, we have an F major chord, which is from the key of C major, going to an F minor chord, which isn't from the key of C major. It's a borrowed chord, a little bit of modal interchange, if you like. And essentially, that E flat note is just a more pleasant sounding note over the top of the F minor chord. It's actually the minor seventh of the chord. Whether or not he knew this, or whether he just did it by ear isn't really relevant. You know, if you do it by ear, that's just the value of having a good set of ears that tell you these kind of things. So anyway, we've got, then we do this little kind of, so a nice little kind of hammer-on lick, which we're going to see later on in the solo in a higher octave, and then that little thing there with that bend, full bend this time, because this is happening over the C chord, so he's bending up to the E note. After that little passage there, we do essentially the same thing again, but with a different ending. So we do the, then this little kind of slightly Hendrixy thing, and there's that E flat note creeping in again there, just as a passing note. Next up, we do an ascending run that uses a very commonplace little pentatonic run, this thing. And he kind of breaks that up into Notice the semitone bend again there. Why? Because we're landing over the F minor chord again with that little lick. Then after it culminates up here with the... he then goes into that little kind of hammer-on lick again here and repeats it. Now, what makes that lick sound so good is that it's a polyrhythm, okay? There are 3 notes in the lick. 1, 2, 3. But we're playing in a rhythm that's subdividing the beat into 4. So when you subdivide a beat into 4, it's counted 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So just breaking that lick down, you'll see that you've got 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and basically what you're going to be doing just unconsciously is you'll be slightly accenting the first note of that cycle of 3 notes. And because, as you can hear, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, because that note is landing in a different place in relation to the downbeat each time you play it, it just sounds more interesting. A couple of bars of that, and then into the big finish where he's up here into some licks that come out of that pattern. I would call it pattern 1 of the C major pentatonic. So you got some nice little unison bends there where we're taking this note here and bending up to it from this note and letting them ring together. And then that little thing there, just a bend, release, pull off. That is a technique that if you're not familiar with, it's a really, really good technique because it's in loads of solos. Bend, release, pull off. And then, so, then reaching up for the high A note there on the E string after that bend. And then just some more unison bends to round the whole thing off. And then into the big final chorus of the song. And that's what's happening in this solo. So there you have it. I should have mentioned actually that also the other chord in the chord sequence underneath that solo, other than the F minor, which isn't from the key of C major, is there is a G sharp diminished, which comes directly before the A minor chord that's in there. And as ever, there is a full tab and a jam track and that explanation and demonstration there. So you're getting the tab and the jam track in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats. All of that is up on my Patreon page for my wonderful, wonderful Patreon supporters who I can't thank enough for all of the support that they're giving me. Thank you, chaps. You are absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate it. And that is pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. Don't forget, if you want to get yourself a Fret Zealot tuition aid a little bit cheaper, just use the discount code that you can see on screen right there and use the link in the description to make your purchase. And I will just of course mention that a couple of my courses are available on the Fret Zealot app, making the modes easy and play lead guitar the easy way, and there might just be another one coming soon. I'll keep you posted about that. And that's it for today, folks. Don't forget the 5 PM Friday live stream. We're back on this week, 5 PM UK time. We're going to have a live stream, and we usually just have a beer and a chat and a laugh. Lasts about an hour. It's great fun, great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd hope to see all of you there. Just you got to bring your own beer though. I'm not buying. And with that, I'll wish you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time around. Stay well, folks. Stay safe. Above all, stay sane, and bye for now.